Unmute. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. I am recording so we can use this to send to the other participants. And today we're going to do a little bit on self-awareness and also some relaxation techniques to utilize with you first, and then secondary, we get to also hit the kids with some of these cool techniques. Some of which you probably already do with your students, but maybe some new ones I'll introduce you to. And Dr. Yonke won't be with us today, so you get my slides, which are pink and not as it looks probably a little different than what Dr. Yonke would provide us with. But and I've asked Dennis to piggyback off of me because some of this stuff that we have covered in our training, he kind of has a different perspective on some of the stuff too. So we're going to just make this very casual and conversational, and to get the most out of our time, we'll just concentrate on how we can implement this to our kids. But first, so while we're here doing our thing, I'm going to stop share for a second. I'm going to pull up this video of Dr. Yonke, where he is right now. You cannot minimize. Okay, great. Well, I'll maximize then. This is Dr. Yonke in Yosemite National Sequoia. I mean,
he might be in Yosemite.
I mean, just absolutely gorgeous.
There's a one.
Yeah. There she is. Yeah, he is embracing all the good nature. Isn't that neat? Super cool. So that's where he's at. While we're here, but we're going to make the best of it, right? So,
And we're back.
and yep, yeah, I think so. Let me make sure. Yeah, that's a good call. Let's just make sure that it's still recording. Share screen. Boom, boom. Yes. Okay. We're back at it. So there's our circle. And today, like I said, we're talking about relaxation and self-awareness, but I thought for discussion purposes, let's talk about making sure that we're all on board with these 8 pillars. And these 8 pillars are totally changeable or adaptable. We can add, revise things if needed, but you know, are we bought into the fact that these are things that we need to implement and should implement into our kids and our lives too, like not just our kids, but you know, are we bought into it? So does anybody have any thoughts, anything that would need changed or adapted or added? Do you think kids would like the circle? Do you think that they would understand the circle and how this middle is compromised of like self-care? These are all ways to provide self-care.
And also remember words, you know.
Yeah.
These are big words.
Yes.
And there might be other big words that fit in those spots.
Yeah. You know, there was, instead of self-awareness, there's, you know, self-talk is encompassed in there. We had self-massage, which we all agreed we should not use that particular word, but we will implement things of the sorts, but not call it that. So, and you know, should we just say, yeah, parents will be calling, it might be awkward, but you know, should we put food instead of nourishment? Should we put water instead of hydration?
I think maybe like, because I'm always talking about water to the kids.
Yeah.
So I think that they would get that better. for
Better
grade
than
school, if we're
hydration.
implementing it at the grade school level. And then also food.
Do you want to just change it, or can you just put like water underneath?
Like
so
in
you get the
parentheses.
chief
Sure.
vocabulary on
Yeah,
That
we
would
can
be
do that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
See, we have a policy that it has to be, you have clear bottles. If
Yes.
It's not a school, like, follow the fixed stage at school. And that's all they do is refill it at the water station.
It's perfect.
But we've been taking 15-minute hydration breaks.
Good.
And it's just one of those things you have to train, of course, including a couple weeks a year.
Right.
Because it's like, I didn't say talk, I said hydrate.
Hydrate.
It's not talk break.
Hydrate.
Otherwise, we're
Good point.
killers.
Good point. It sounds like this from the school end of things. You guys can weigh in on this. You push this probably enough. Maybe outside the home, that's a different story because you don't know how can we control what they're drinking at home, but we can tell them the benefits of drinking water. You know, we can talk to them about why water is different than other substances and other liquids. So as we look at the circle, just know that I literally made this, like we can change it into whatever you want it to be. So, okay, so today we're going to do a very quick recap of the 8 pillars. I'm going to do a self-awareness check-in for us, and then how cool will it be to use that exercise with our kids? I think you'll really like it. Walk you through some relaxation techniques. I also printed on the back for you. The back packet is a blueprint for success, and it's just like how to write down your goals and how to follow through with your goals. It's like a journal activity that kids will eat up. I eat it up because it's keeping me it just is part of my accountability. I use it in a variety of different ways. And then lastly, if we could just like touch base on the timeline and how we're gonna roll this out in the fall. So nutrition and hydration were the first 2 things that we hit home on. And like we were saying with water, it's not drinking the soda or, you know, in my case, the wine. That's not as beneficial. The juice isn't as beneficial as water. And so we need to really make sure that we're pushing the benefits of water. You know, I put a couple of them over here, you know, when you get a headache, we always tend to reach for this, you know, we tend to reach for the Tylenol, but seriously, you could just grab some water, throw a little lemon in it, and it does help alleviate some of the tension and stuff. So just, you know, telling that to our kids more often, you know, and showing them that your health can literally be improved just by drinking more water. And, you know, they really say, I don't know if 8 to 10 is the stand all be all, but they say half of your body weight in ounces. Divide half of your body weight in ounces, and that's how much you're supposed to get. So that's a lot. But since our body's comprised of mostly water, you have to replenish it every day. And then on the nutrition side, this, in my opinion, this particular pillar, you guys can weigh in on this. This is really hard to control at the kid level because we don't know what they're capable, what they have access to at home. We don't know what their parents can or are willing to provide for them. And a lot of children are malnourished and not given not having the access to any food. So any food, sometimes we're like, it's okay. Thank God they're eating. But in this case, we're really talking about how nutritional food is just outweighs some of those other non-healthful foods that are really hurting and leading us to more disease and illnesses. So what do you guys think about nutrition and how do you focus on this at the school level in the classroom? Because it's like, yeah, you can't really control it. We can control it in school during school hours, but
Well, I think
kind of hard
that,
to talk about.
Mrs. Obama took care of, making
Yes.
sure that there was regulations on the amount of sugars and fats and such
Yeah.
at school. And then, we have the fruit and veggie program for
Mhm.
snacks in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
The bummer is the food program that goes home with the needy kids.
Mhm.
And we send a sack of stuff home for the weekend for those kids who are not sure they're getting fed and
Yeah.
they're easy to. There's not enough of the fruits and vegetables. I mean, there's a
Sure.
very minimal amount. And the other stuff is like a can of Vienna sausages and crackers and it's carbohydrates and
Yeah.
fat.
Yeah. It's really,
Well, I think another thing with food is, Donnie, it's like they have to take 3 things. And so a lot of times they don't take study that they
Want them to
take.
take.
But if they take their things, we can't force them to take the rest. I mean, we try and encourage them to
Mhm.
take other things. And like I had kindergarten today. I don't want milk. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh, yes.
you have to have
please.
milk.
Yes, like
So
I promise this is going to be better for you and your brain if you do, and it's hard when they're really young to really describe how food processes and how this really will help your brain function, help your body function. It's going to, like Dr. Yankee always talked about, like what did he say? The function, our function is just improved. Our body's function is improved by those healthy foods and replenished and nourished with, whole foods. But it's really hard to explain that to a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old.
Now, I have been doing for my little workout videos, tons of, you can just type in a theme, anything you want, but yesterday is healthy foods versus unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the choices come up there and you have
Ooh.
to choose, and
Uh-huh.
then you do an exercise with that activity.
I love that.
And then it will come up with the facts about that food. And it was very child friendly. We now
Great.
know that eggs are great for your brain.
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yes. They're probably being introduced to foods through that too, that they
Yeah, it was all-
maybe
yeah,
not
it was
had.
it was a two-way shot there,
No.
exercising and little health lesson.
Good. So that, in my opinion, out of the 8, this one's really hard because we really can't control very much, but it sounds like what you guys are doing is really great. And if we could just keep providing new creative ways to introduce those new foods and eating natural, I just think that it's going to greatly reduce their need to go to the doctor, the illnesses, the surgeries, all of that is deeply impacted by what we eat. I need to practice what I preach, right?
Well, I think also the nutrition program, it's gonna change a little as we bring more agriculture into the elementary level. I know we've been pushing for gardens.
Yeah.
You guys are pushing for gardens and things like that at the elementary level where kids are harvesting what they planted and chose to plant. I think they're growing probably be more likely to consume it.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Find ways that
I
they
agree with
like.
that. I agree with that.
I grew that. I
I
did
agree with
this.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think that's a big one too.
That's great. So do you feel like the food program, the lunch with the different restrictions and things that are in place, are those working? Are the kids eating?
Here's the thing, it's kind of like a catch-22 because we have so much obesity and we're really low on that healthy scale.
Yeah, it's hard.
The
Yeah.
part is that I struggled with was we weren't overweight as kids. And we ate all the stuff
All the
that
things.
that
Yeah.
were out there. It was because we were sent out of the house.
You were moving more. You
And
were
we
burning.
you didn't come home until lights came on outside. And we were
Yes.
bicycling, we were walking to friends' houses, we were playing at the park, we were all of those things all day long.
Right.
In the summer or after school.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
at first I
Your
really didn't
exercise
like
of it.
the restrictions, but we sit and we are the computer generation. The
Yes.
technology is in their hands and we're sitting like this in our beds.
Yeah. And that's really hard because
tough.
now our shift needs to be, of course, on movement too. But if we're not going to move as much, then we have to look at nutrition. And that's kind of like me. Like I had a knee injury. I'm not able to move as much or as agile anymore. So now my focus has to be on nutrition. And that sucks for me. It's just awful. So I know that kids could probably relate in some way, we're just not going to get the movement opportunities in that we used to, especially if we're going to be computer heavy again going forward, and I'm sure we will. I can't see that moving. So interesting. That's definitely
I agree
one.
with Christine. It goes back to parents too.
Yeah.
Because I'm most surprised, my husband has 2 younger brothers that are highly educated. And all of a sudden, they're getting jet ready for bed and he hands them the iPad. And I was like, what are you doing? He's going to bed. Oh, he needs that to go to sleep. And I was like, oh, Aunt Kimmy would have said no.
Oh.
So, I mean, and it's just, my husband and I just look at each other, it's like, you both are highly educated and that's what
Sure.
you choose to do. And I just walk away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do a pamphlet about blue light.
Yeah. Blue light. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Oh, the struggle. It's Very true. So speaking of that, perfect. The next two things that we talked about is how to use sleep and good sleep hygiene into, you know, practicing our self-care and improving our self-care. And then we talked a lot about physical activity and movement, AKA not exercise, because we know that word is icky to some, but let's touch on rest for a second, because I even put the question on here, like, how can we inspire youth to make healthy sleep habits, staying off your phone at nighttime before bed? You know, another thing that we can't control, right?
But what are the stats? I'd love to, like, the healthy sleep habits, if you have more information on that.
Mm-hmm.
There's kids that think it's really cool to try to stay awake all night.
Yeah.
And
Challenges.
yeah, and they will. And they're not just dragging Monday, they're dragging Tuesday into Wednesday.
Sure.
I think it's gonna
It's a
take
horrible
you 3
cycle.
days to catch up on the weekends you just beat yourself up with.
I don't know why they would think that staying up late is like that late. Staying up late, sure.
Because nobody's checking on them because they're not home.
You're saying, well, they're home.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
it's popular like YouTube channels where they're doing like late night challenges and challenging kids to stay, so seeing some of that
Yeah,
negative encouragement for that behavior.
man.
What is the rule now on the amount of sleep children should get? It's more than what adults.
Yeah, Trip and Crew are at 12. They each need 12 hours until they're like, what, 5 or something. And then that goes down to like 10. And then, we're, of course, in that 8-hour time frame. But yeah, I think it's a lot more than we're getting. That's the scary
I
part.
would like to be able to educate the kids more as we bring this into family time and our soft
Mhm.
start. Like, do a week where we're hitting on rest and
Yeah.
because we know that tired driving is as bad as drunk driving, so these kids are basically like drunk driving their way into our classrooms, and no wonder there's behaviors and they can't.
Well, and if you're
understand what
tired,
just taught 'em.
how are you going to go do the things that you need to do, like the movement, going to the store, doing all these things that we want them to do? But if you're tired, this is all out the window.
Right.
If you're
It's like
tired,
emotional
you're-
scores are shot, it's a moody.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys feel like this, but when I don't get adequate sleep, or if I have bad sleep quality, it affects everything, and I'm really in like a depressed, moody state, and not in a happy place at all. And I imagine if the kids are like that, well, then we have zombies everywhere.
Well, and then
That's
they
not
find out
fun.
why they're acting that way.
Yeah.
They realize they're so
They're
tired.
not gonna relate it to sleep. Like, oh, it was cool.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Slumber parties are for,
Yeah, once in a while, sure, staying up. And then also hitting on to the kids, how rest doesn't necessarily mean sleep. When we're talking about active rest, where you're taking those brain breaks that you guys do already, those are so beneficial for adults and kids. Just that time to just break away for a minute and do some of the things that I'm going to talk to you guys about, relaxation techniques. So I don't think there was anything on here that is news to you guys. Okay, so then we are to deep breathing and stress management, which we did last week. Dennis talked a lot about stress management too, and Dr. Yonke, and how we're always going to have those stressors in our lives. We talked about how much the kids are going through right now in their home life, and that is super upsetting. And we all have these, but they're probably not going to go away, unfortunately. But the way that we react to them and the way that we assess ourselves and how we cope with them is what's going to push us to a better spot in taking care of ourselves in a healthy way. So, which led us perfectly into deep breathing and giving everybody a chance to know that taking those more mindful breaths not just calms you down, but it helps your brain and it helps your body. And there's different types of deep breathing, which we'll kind of go into in a little bit as well. But do you guys have any added notes or anything that you felt would be good or bad.
I said a comment
Uh-huh.
about the breathing, because I kind of started it with a second grade group. Just to get them,
Yes.
get calming down at the end of 40
Yeah.
minutes. And so this week, when we're done with the activity and we're, get ready to line up, and the little girl said, can we do that breathing thing? Calm down. Good idea.
Love it.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good. And I was practicing the belly breath with my senior class. We meet every Tuesday, Thursday, and they really, really like the deep breathing because they use it before they go to sleep. And so we practice it a little bit at the end of our yoga. And we were trying to describe the belly breath. And I don't know how you guys feel. I struggle with the abdomen breath, where you fill your belly up and then you fill your chest up, and then the holding at the top, and then the exhale really slow. I don't know if you guys have been practicing that. I've been practicing it in my car, and I think it's really beneficial. Just a lot of good for my mind. Makes me feel
I can't
good.
remember if I mentioned under the stress management piece. Did I talk about stress and distress?
No, you
I had it
should.
in my notes.
Yeah, I don't think we got to it.
Stress is a part of life, and in fact, like in the caveman days, that's why they were able to survive. Big animal, your body gets shot with adrenaline, so you can fly. It's
Mhm.
So that the stress response saves your life.
Mhm.
But the problem today is we are in that mode, that stress mode, where all the adrenaline, everything for
Mhm.
long periods of time, more mental stress, all that stuff. What's different today than it was then is, they were short bursts, for survival. Now we have that same stress reaction for a longer period of time, just because the complexity of the world and
Mhm.
things that are going on, and a lot of the things that you mentioned, the things your students are living with, their parents, some coming out of prison, all this stuff. So stress is normal. Distress is not. Distress is what I call unhealthy stress. Stress that you bring on yourself and add to it.
Mhm.
And because stress will always be with us. But then we're like the deep breathing. So when you are stressed, it doesn't matter if it's the normal stress or the stress you bring on yourself.
Mhm.
The techniques still help address that.
Mhm.
I have unfortunately, my 10-year-old granddaughter, 10 years old today, has panic attacks. And it's a hereditary thing. My dad has it, her mother, my daughter has it, and now she has it. And she just, it's awful, when kids are, and so she practices a lot of these things, calming, talking about things ahead of time, like, we're gonna go to this situation, it's gonna be different than what you're used to, and to help prepare her for those things. And I know you have children that have those same disorders.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think some of these things when we get to them, they're pretty useful. So before we do some of those relaxation techniques, I found a good exercise through our Healer Within. Dr. Yonke wrote a book called The Healer Within. So if you can get it on Amazon, I think he might even send us some maybe. I need to talk to him. But he wrote this book, and in it, kind of just doing an exercise on checking in with yourself. And, when you even give yourself the chance to ask how you're doing, you're already halfway there. You've already done probably the hardest part, just asking that question. But when you are aware, it's interesting how you then think that you have control, and you do have control of shifting any negative situation into a positive, positive energy. So you're basically in power. And a lot of us don't believe that we have the power to do that, to change or shift, but we do. So I kind of divided this into physical, like when we ask ourselves these questions, in the physical state, the mental, the emotional, and around us. And there was one on here was spiritual, but I know that we probably can't do that in the school, even though I don't, some might be able to, but asking yourself, you know, how, giving yourself the opportunity to ask, how do I feel right now? And you can just do that with yourself right now and start to assess if you have flutters, or if you feel calm, or if you feel at peace, or maybe you feel some of those stressors from the outside environment. Giving yourself the opportunity to even ask the question is a big step. And I think you guys do this maybe at school, like in the mornings, perhaps. You ask.
we do those as a regulation.
Perfect. Yes.
If there's anything but green, they have to give us a reason.
Have to tell. That's right. So then you go into that physical assessment. And I really like this one. When I'm stretching with my senior class, we go head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And we take a second to stretch each body part. And we say, is there something tight in my shoulder? Did I sleep weird? That's okay. Don't try to change it. Just for a second, let's just acknowledge where the stress might be in our body or what might not feel good. And as seniors, they admit to feeling really tight and not flexible. And so we don't try to change that right away. It's okay. We're going to get to that. We're just finding ourselves, our physical assessment, where stress might be, what feels good, what feels not so good. And then you go into that mental question of, where am I mentally at? What am I focused on right now? And is our focus where it needs to be? More often than not, I feel like my head is in too many places, and I can't just focus in on the moment. I like to ask that question. Emotionally, how are you feeling? Sad, happy. Environmental, what's surrounding me? I ask the question to myself, like when I breathe in and I do those big inhales, can I assess the temperature of the room as I inhale? And then as I exhale, what does the temperature feel like? You know, and just by assessing the temperature, it kind of makes me feel grounded to my surroundings. I really like that. That's one I stole from Corey Hoffmeister. If you know her, she's a yoga instructor, and she makes us lay on the ground and assesses the temperature of the room, and it immediately makes me feel just more aware. It's pretty cool. So then we go into if we want to change, or if we find those negative spots that we want to provide more support or more positive energy. These are things that you can do to change your physical, mental, emotional, environmental states. So of course, the things that we already know, but it's hard to do. Breathing deeply, we know that can absolutely benefit us in more ways than one, especially physically. Just taking a second, if you're not feeling well, to drink water is really good. Sipping every 15 minutes or so is awesome. Roger would tell us to take a drink right now. And I have this little tea packet. I'm trying to be a tea lover. I'm still not. But anyways, yeah, drinking, hydrating, stretching does a lot, especially for the adults. I'm sure kids would benefit too from stretching, knowing what stretches to do and making it fun. Adjusting our posture. I'm always slouching. So adjusting and aligning your spine. And just being aware, if you can, step outside, does a body good. Mentally, the self-talk is really big. We have a whole section dedicated in the Healer Within and the Circle of Life to self-talk, and I'll integrate that into our guidebook. But making sure that you focus on how to make yourself, finding the solutions, giving yourself the answers, or just talking the answers out in your own head. Remember, I think, 80% of our thoughts are negative. So it's like, yeah. And now I've started to notice, I think it's when I'm going to bed at night that I'm noticing my thoughts and I'm like, whoa, those are negative. You know, you really do notice. Now that I know that a lot of that was negative, I'm like, that is negative. Stop it. You know, trying to change it. Emotionally, this is a good exercise for kids and me and adults. Journaling, talking to somebody you trust. You guys have that safe support system within the school, I think, and how valuable that is to have counselors and the support staff. And then creating a safe place to release those emotions. Is there something called like an emotion room? Emotion.
Sting
So cool. Can
What's
you
it
tell
called?
us about that?
relief room.
Tell us about it,
Well,
because that's pretty cool.
I wouldn't be the most qualified person, but it's a room that they've developed in the junior senior high school that has a lot of soft furniture, calming music. I think there's candles that can be lit for a while, or
Mhm.
where kids can request an opportunity to visit on their own. It's monitored. There's someone
Outside the door.
outside the door,
That's cool.
you know, all day. You're limited in the number of opportunities you can have, I believe, and if it
Mhm.
gets past that, or it becomes a little more concerning, then of course, then it's counselors become aware of that, the teachers become aware of that. But it's an attempt to get the kids to recognize, hey, we can self-regulate. You may need a different environment for a little bit, but then you're expected to go back to class and
Mhm.
continue with your day. I believe they feel like it's been successful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you, I don't know a whole lot about it.
I feel like I would use that, like benefit from
But
that.
teachers can use it up.
Yeah, well, actually, we created a Zen Den, our social emotional.
Cool.
That's cool.
We have a Zen Den in our building for teachers. It has like a reclining
That's where we've
chair, like
been.
a police
What?
blanket.
Cool.
Yeah, well, when
Oh
Karen and I are
yeah.
zooming in, we're in the
Yeah. Zen
That's why
room.
the lighting's so much,
Ooh.
though, because they have the blue screens on the
Yeah.
lights up
How
there.
cool.
and There's beautiful clothes, hand drawn on the chalkboard in there. We have like those little waterfall machines and sound
Yes.
machines. And, yeah, so it's nice for the adults. In elementary school, I know that our building has, I think almost every single room has implemented a Peace Corner.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we
And
have to.
yeah,
That's
and it's
nice.
behind, mine is behind my desk.
Uh-huh.
And thank goodness we're getting back to some kind of normal. 'cause
Yeah.
my pillows and rugs are coming back out. Not everything has to be
Yes.
plastic anymore.
Right.
So I have like comfy pillows and stuff back there, and there's also a little thing like they can put their hand on it and it's red, and they hold it there for a while and focus, it turns green. There's like sensory stuff back there, like beautiful day lotion that's just smells like fruit, so that
They can just have an aroma. Yep, I carry my
so
lavender
they
around.
can just
Mhm.
sit back there and chill, and I have a couple of kids that
Hmm.
have focus issues that ask to just take their Chromebook and go back there and take their breaths.
Sure. All right. Wow.
That works.
Well, you guys obviously have some creative spaces to let those emotions. That's great. I need to do that. That's really cool.
Those kind of spaces are eye-opening, or they were at least
Oh.
to me, because I think there was a feeling possibly that they might be abused. And as kids were, as they worked through what that room was for and why it was going to be used, I think it was valued enough that they really do utilize it in a positive way.
Oh, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I can't remember that just has a, they see, it's modeled for them every day, horrible, ugly, angry behavior. And so that's their go-to when they're starting to get frustrated, they just go straight to anger. And
Sure.
so we've been working with this kiddo, and now I'm going behind the desk.
Yep.
They go back there just to collect themselves.
Sure.
I'm good now.
Right.
I can come back and collaborate with my friends.
Wouldn't that be great if they had that safety spot in their homes too, for summer or at
They can
home?
create that real easily.
Yeah.
Tell them,
Like
"Hey,
create
this
your
looks
own
pretty
Zen
weird."
Zen den. I love that.
Quiet place.
Yeah, I need to do that too. That was that environmental. That's perfect. You guys hit on that. That's super wonderful. So now we'll get into some of
Can I
the,
go
oh,
back
sure,
to-
sure.
to physical for a
Yeah,
minute?
yeah.
Another thing that is really good, I sometimes don't realize that I'm clenching my jaw. I noticed it today. I said,
Yep.
I'm clenching my jaw.
Yep.
And had no reason to.
Nope.
Some people frown.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe they're just, their shoulder, they're just
Yep.
kind of. And one way to is wherever you carry, there's an exercise you can do where you
Oh my gosh, you read ahead, didn't you?
no.
I totally already have
Oh,
it.
sorry.
Yeah. Gosh.
Okay, well, basically you
Yes, you over tense up.
that area.
I'll lead you through it.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
So have you done, I know. So have you done that with Corey? Has she led you through
No,
that?
no.
So I'll lead you guys through it because it's like literally the best thing I've
Okay.
ever done for my body.
Sorry.
Like what you're saying. Yes, you're right on the
Right.
jaw.
Oh, that's good.
I like it. I like it. You are spot on. It's the perfect segue. Okay, so this next section is just going to lead you guys through some of the options that we can use both for ourselves and the students. And Dennis talked about this too. Or I mean, we know each other very well when this the fight or flight state, when we're in that when we have that stress response and we have that hyperactivity, our body is going to want us to create a relaxation response. So things that you can do to try to mitigate that stress and to relax a little bit: yoga, visualization, music, nature, being outside, and deep breathing. And so you all know the benefits, but most importantly, I don't know if we all just like really acknowledge that we can prevent a lot of the stuff that we're seeing, the anxiety, the depression, just all these diseases can be improved if we have a sacred relaxation practice that we go to. Like, we're all going to be different. We're all going to choose different things. But, using those self-healing methods are going to promote that relaxation response, which our body is craving, especially at coming out of a pandemic. So yoga, huge fan. I don't do it often enough. But if you can, this is a link to the best yoga YouTube free channel that I've ever, I don't know if it'll go or not. It's called Yoga by Adrienne. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's phenomenal. I'm pulling it up right now. Very beginner friendly. She even has some for nurses, teachers. She like creates this content that's absolutely magical. And you can do it from your own home. You could do it with your students. She has like 10, 20 minute, 30 minutes. She's got a plethora of short ones. Her voice is just absolutely beautiful. If you have the opportunity to look through that, or if you're looking to, social anxiety, I need that one. Yeah. So anyways, that's there for you. Visualization, closing your eyes and cueing yourself to find that happy Zen place. Of course, music of all different flavors is extremely relaxing. Some people would even go as far as to say, it like Philip Newkirk, our dentist, he always has music going, but his music for relaxing is like metal or rock and stuff. I mean, that's just how he is. His Zen state is maximized when he has music going, but any music that you enjoy. Being outside. Okay, so here's my one slide on yoga because I am a big fan. Yoga is considered the philosophy of life. It just has this sincere regard for your mind and body to come together for like a few minutes. And that's really powerful. To join is what actually yoga, from the root word. And I'm just going to put it on there. June 21st is my birthday. And so I feel like there's this like wonderful, and it's also the summer solstice. And so there's just this really cool integration of nature and just wonderful. Just a little tidbit about yoga. So these are a little extra, if you will, on different ways to maximize your space. Maybe this could be something that we taught to our kids and how to make their own space, like what you were saying, how they could create their own Zen den in their home. But these are things that would really enhance, pretty easy to do, you know, making that quiet space, the cushions, the pillows that you were talking about, music, lighting, dim lighting, those cool rocks that everybody has. So you might know what I'm talking about. The Himalayan lamps. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. Himalayan crystal lamps. They're really affordable. There, I found mine at like $10 at Dollar General. They're really cool. Comfortable, just being, if anything that came out of the pandemic, I feel like comfy clothing wear is on the rise. I have my fair share of comfy essentials. So you don't need yoga though. You don't always have to be extra. These are simple things here that we've already talked about. A simple, very simple approach is just simply moving and adjusting yourself, taking those deep, relaxing breaths, hydrating. And then I wanted to give you guys a little app to download or to use with your kids. It's called the Insight Chime Timer. I'll show it to you. I use this often. It reminds me it comes on my phone a couple times throughout my day. I have it set for some alarms. I'm a very anxious person, so this helps relax me. The plethora of information on here it's really, really cool. They have a whole bunch of different free people that come and do little tidbits on talking. But what I really like about it is down here, they've got a couple like little 5, 6, 7 minute tidbits, meditation they'll lead through meditations. And then I listened to this one this morning, just about waking up with like a graceful attitude. Beautiful voice again, just absolutely really peaceful. There's one for sleeping. There's a couple different things I listen to for getting a good night's sleep. Again, all free. You guys just check it out. Calmness. There's some really good music on here. I think I've listened to this one too. Falling asleep to that music and the guided imagery on your phone for that visualization aspect. It's like you look at it and you're in a different world. It's really pretty. They did a really wonderful job. So that's that. Okay. I just thought that was a cool picture. She looks really relaxed. And if anybody can do that, I will give them $100. Okay, so here is just a little bit about, oh, don't mind I didn't change my text very well. The ear and the hands and the feet. And this is the self-massage section. So you have to be creative and tell us how to, or if you want to implement this. But, you know, Dr. Yonke does a really good way of saying that if you bring awareness to the points in your body where you do have that stress and you do touch, it really helps soothe the body and can really help relieve pressure and stress. So the ears, I put this on here. Dennis, I think he just listed these out because these are all the parts of the body that are impacted by touching, you know, through your ear sensories.
They're basically what's
Like
in your hand. I
feet,
first
hand.
heard about reflexology. Have you guys heard that? And I always thought it was just the feet.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the same thing in your hands and the same thing in your ears. And he has a diagram that, and we can send the.
Yeah, I have those,
photos
the huge,
the huge ones, so you can actually look. And
I love the ear.
if you notice an area, it could be in your hand or your foot, that's sore,
Mm-hmm.
then if you will just work on that, and just, press it, it's always interesting to look at the diagram and see,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
You know, I guess I drank too much beer last night.
Uh-huh.
It's the liver
It's
area.
the liver. I need to massage my ears now.
This ear thing was on, what, Meet the Fockers?
Yes.
Um,
Yes. I can't remember who, I think it was Corey. I refer to her often because she's amazing. She will have us massage our ears and pull down on our ears. And then if you've ever had a massage, which I need to someday when I have time, they'll pull on your ears and it feels so good. It just feels so good. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like, wow.
But I've practiced this a lot, sometimes when I'm in the shower in the
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah, that's what I do.
When I lived in Colorado, I had a jacuzzi and I could see the Rocky Mountains. So I had a really good view.
Yeah.
But I would make myself just really focus on any of these areas, just take your time
Mhm.
and it really helps. The hands,
Oh yeah, let me go to the
I
hand
don't
one.
get a massage that often.
Me either.
But I can tell you the thing I like the best are those ladies, they intertwine usually. it's a lady,
Yes.
could be a guy, and they just work on the hand. I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm dead.
That's better
Yep.
than the whole body thing.
I agree. The hand massage is pretty nice. Now, if you get manicures like the girls do, sometimes your lady will do a hand
Yeah.
massage for you. Manicures
The
and
pulling,
Oh.
the fingers, and we carry a lot in here, and you can just do this yourself, and the same with neck. I mean, you can massage your neck. So when you say, "Oh, I don't have time for a massage," well, you
Well,
really
you can
do
just
have
do it
time. You can
yourself.
do it yourself.
yeah,
And if we carry things like, what do they call it, trapezoid?
traps.
I-
Yeah.
that's-
hmm
Oh, that's like right there. There it is.
So they said
Yeah.
if you have it in your shoulder, then you need to hit number 3, you need to hit right here on the middle back part of your hand if your shoulders are hurting. So this
So-
impacts this somehow.
And you know,
I don't know.
and a lot
I
of
don't
people
know
think
how.
This is weird. These
This is-
techniques are thousands and thousands of years old, and they're just nerve points and all. It just
Yeah.
and
Shoulders.
You've heard of acupuncture? They're using these meridians and
Mhm.
they're putting things.
They're putting them in these spots. Yeah.
So it's ancient medicine, and coming from healthcare, there's more and more integration of modern medicine,
Mhm.
which deals with sickness, and integrated medicine or Eastern medicine that deals with prevention.
Mhm. Mhm.
I found out a few months ago, Alice Walton from the Walmart family,
Mhm.
she's actually funding a school, a medical school that is an integrative medicine school. It's called the Whole Health School, and it'll be open. They'll take their first medical students in 2023.
Hmm.
There's only a couple medical schools in the country, but people have realized that this stuff really does work. Too many
Mhm.
people go to the doctor for things that we can do ourselves if we
Yeah.
just know how to do it.
Yeah.
Basic preventative medicine.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, I'll just be real honest. When I went to the doctor the other day, I was telling her about my anxiousness and she's like, well, how are you eating? Are you hydrating very well? She like led me through the 8 pillars and I'm like, I just wanted you to tell me that it's okay. No, but she did really good. But oh my gosh, she was totally talking about that and how, well, really all your stuff's manageable through those 8 pillars. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So just doing them is the hardest part. There's the one on the feet. So stomach problems, hearts, again, your shoulders there's some nerves that are leading to all these different areas of your body.
And there's inexpensive
Yeah.
devices too, like roller things for your.
Yeah, the roller.
Hits those hard spots, those
Uh-huh.
tough spots that really.
They've really put a good push out there for the massage guns and the different things that are really just like you can do them yourself. And there's been a big push because we can't all get to the massage therapist.
Taylor pulled that.
Yeah.
The other day.
Taylor's got some
And
cool
I
stuff.
went,
The massage
Come
gun
on.
is awesome. If you guys go to Amazon, check out the massage gun. They have deals all over. They're just really useful and they trigger those nerves that might need a little aid. And then have you guys heard of we have it at the rehab center, the needling, dry needling, very acupuncture-esque in a way. Not the exact same, but yeah, same idea of hitting these trigger points. Okay, so here is what Dennis was leading to, this exercise that I'll lead you through to maybe you and your kids could use it, but if you sit up really tall, and I'm going to try to put on my more relaxing voice. I'm not a yoga instructor. I try to be, but I'm not. But I'm going to have you guys close your eyes. And I know it's weird at first, but I think you'll really enjoy it. So just go with the flow for a second. So I'm going to have you put both feet on the ground evenly. And it's almost like your legs are going to become rooted to the ground and rooted to the floor. And I want you to kind of assess your legs and assess how they feel. And I want you to not change anything, but just relax for a second. And I want you to lift up, just barely lift up your left leg and tense your toes like you're going to curl them and really overemphasize the curling. Take an inhale. As you exhale, release the leg to the floor and unclench. So like each toe pad just becomes relaxed in its spot. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So lift, inhale, clench really tight. Exhale, soften, and let that leg fall back into the chair. It's almost like your legs are melting. The next thing I'm going to have you bring awareness to are your glute muscles. So your sit bones are connected to the chair, but I want you to kind of sway back and forth for a second and kind of let your glutes relax for a moment. And then as you inhale, I want you to tighten and really squeeze. It's almost like you lift yourself up a little bit. Inhale and exhale, melt as you completely let the muscles relax. The next area I want to do that with are your hands. So you can just have your hands either on your lap, on the table, and on your inhale, clench your fists and your fingers so tight like you're squeezing on to something. Bring it, inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, uncurl. And it's like your fingers just naturally curl and relax. Same thing, but this time, but we're going to go up to the shoulders. So I'm going to have you keep those eyes closed. As you inhale, I want you to lift your shoulders to your ears. Exhale as you release the shoulders, and they're going to fall down into their resting spot. You can kind of already feel taller when you do that. Next, we're going to work the jaw. And so on your inhale, I want you to tighten your jaw by clenching your teeth. Exhale, release, and let the tongue fall to the roof of the mouth or the bottom of the mouth. And then lastly, to align your spine, I'm going to have you inhale and push your chin and your neck forward. Exhale, bring your chin back with a little tilt down into the chest. And then you can softly open your eyes. And I hope that gave your entire body the relaxation's response that it deserves. That's kind of what we like to do. But if you can do that laying on the ground, money, great. It's just perfect. So
I've had students fall asleep whenever we do some of this.
I could
Just
go.
relax.
I could literally just like pass out. Yeah, it's pretty magical. I really like that, especially at nighttime. So those are things that we can do. Let's take a little quick break if we need to move around. We're perfect. We should be finished. I'm going to walk us through the blueprint when we come back and then do our timeline. So take a second if you need to use the restroom or get more water. We just have like a little ditty left and do some check-ins. We can take a nap after that.
My students got really good at Gmailing me on my phone when I'm gone. I went to
Access.
air rifle training in Wichita Monday, and the kids are telling on each other. JC won't let John have the other snake. He wants to trade snakes. That's what I thought. Geniuses. Like, I just got, can I do 3 times the rest steaks? I'm done with everything for the afternoon. And so I said, Jack's gonna have 3 times the rest of the day. So I'm asking teacher. It's on Vicky. She's getting paid, yeah. That was good.
Okay, well, don't go buy the new Peloton treadmill. Apparently they recalled them all.
Gosh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
all over the news.
All of
It was
them.
all over.
And there was another brand
What?
too they
The
mentioned.
new Peloton treadmill, they recalled them all. I think the stuff was falling off on people. Like
That's-
the
one that-
console?
incline,
Well, then there was one where it's pulling them underneath.
Yeah,
Got the-
terrifying.
Yeah,
Oh,
animals.
Yeah, animals.
They'd already had a child that lost a height.
Oh.
The one that they showed on the news wasn't so bad, but his arms still pulled under.
Oh my gosh. Who would have thought? I mean, there was just probably such a high demand for Peloton to just get creative that they
Yeah.
did it a little too fast perhaps and didn't check.
I know.
You gotta stop first.
Yeah,
Once
you
you
can't.
climb, that's it, yeah.
Okay, Dennis, I might lean on you a little bit on this blueprint
Okay.
for success. I gave everybody a blank copy and then also an example. So I'm just gonna kind of walk through like how we could change it. I think this would be good for like high school. Probably could be dumbed down for the grade school level a little bit, not dumbed down, but just simplified. Okay, if you guys are good, I'm good. We'll roll through the blueprint really quick. I think I told you guys that this is one of the things that we used in the Circle of Life certification, and we really liked it. We pretty much referenced the blueprint and we changed it and adapted it. It's kind of like a journey of like always working on the blueprint for success. So I thought maybe this would be a good activity for your students to utilize. So I'm going to have Dennis help me a little bit, but the focus area, I gave you guys an option on the back one. It says Maria's blueprint. It's just an example, but if you were to choose like one of the 8 pillars to work on, this would be one of the ones that you felt like it doesn't have to be your weakest part of the circle, you know, or the area where you felt like you scored the lowest, but it could also be something, maybe a strength or maybe something in the middle.
Some in the middle, the whole goal is for you to experience a positive outcome. And so you may not want to pick your hardest to start off with. Pick something that you're weak in, but you can improve.
Mm-hmm. It's like tangible.
When I took the recertification course, the thing I worked on was play. And that's not on this, but it's one of the things that was on
Our
big
circle, yeah.
And because I like to play, I just don't play enough. And plays anything you do for fun. I mean, so play for me, it might be cooking, which it is. I like to cook exotic fun things. So I use that. And so the next one is, what are your strengths and victories? And it is what you want there is that could be anything you're strong in, or any victories you've had in your past where you know, I used to have an issue with this and I successfully did this. So that the thing about our model is strength breeds success. And so you try to pull on where have you been victorious? Maybe it is, let's just use mine as play. Well, you know, I bought a hula hoop. I did, actually.
Yep, you
Because
did.
my granddaughter, she could walk in circles and figure eights and that thing's still going around. I said,
That's
and
fun.
I couldn't get it to go. at all. I mean, it just went down. So I said, I'm gonna work on that. And I can actually keep it up.
Nice. Yep.
So like with, let's say, Maria's, her victory was the doctor told her probably to get more exercise in life. So I followed my doctor's advice. That's success. Now I'm meeting with a health physician. So
yeah, like if you're somebody that has good follow through, that could be one of your strengths. If you're dedicated, if you are willing, you know, hopeful, all those things, little things to build kids up, I feel like is going to be a really wonderful thing to see on that exercise, that part. Then the intention part is, what do you want from this? What is your ultimate, how did you describe it? Your ultimate life vision. How do you want to feel? How do you want to be? What's this intention? Yeah. What's the outcome? Why, you know, that's kind of like your why. We use that word a lot in why, like, for example, at the gym, you know, why are you here? Why are you choosing to exercise? And Maria, you know, saying that she wants to live a long and healthy life to support my children. I think when I did the certification, my focus area was spirituality. And so my intention was to feel connected, period. And that's what I always went back to, just to have that rooted, connected feeling. So the goal though is a little different, right? It's more measurable. Yeah. Those SMART goals that I know you all know about. I know you guys use those all the time. Yeah, more action oriented and action step oriented, I should say. So making those goals, I know different grade levels will have different approaches to that, but nonetheless, I think having goals in any of these categories would be wonderful. You could have a goal in each one if you wanted, but for this exercise, choosing what your ultimate goal is.
the challenge is, for me, it's what's going to get in my way.
Yeah.
It could be me.
It's usually
I get
long
home,
for me.
"Oh, that couch sure looks nice." You know, and so, you know, if you can identify what your barriers are gonna be your challenges, are gonna be, you know that on the front end, and if you've written it down, then you say, oh, yeah, it's right there right now.
Yep.
It's staring me in the face. So just acknowledging that. For some people, it's like they're so tired at the end of the day, there's no way they're gonna we have all the intentions to go out and take a nice long walk, and they're wiped out. So
Yeah.
if that's the challenge, maybe you're first thing in the morning. Sometimes it's like taking a pill, take a big old pill and get her done. And, so affirmations. I like that, and what in visualization. I had a 3x5 card I put on my computer, and have my affirmation on there. I'm gonna bring my joyful, caring self to my work. And when I get into my office, I would look at that and, okay, I've got my
It's
my
like your
affirmation
attitude. Yeah.
for the day. You need to come up and use words that are meaningful to you.
Yeah. There's some really good ones on the back page of that. Sample affirmations, sample goals. Those are really good. Just overall exercise. I think I know my affirmation was, I feel connected and and peace begins in me, because I tend to get a little anxious. And so I know that I'm the only person that can bring peace to myself. And so I kept repeating that, and I still do. I have to bring peace. It begins within me. No one's going to give that to me. So I need to have control over not being so stressed or anxious. So it was good. And then that little second box down here is like your accountability partner. That's not a person, but it's on paper. And if you bring this to a person and show it to them, that's like where the real success comes in. Just having that little schedule of what you're going to do, the action steps to which you're going to break out that goal that's above into tiny little steps that are manageable and, within your reach, and an honest measurement of when you're going to do it. And then the big kahuna that I think makes this even better is having that mind-body practice. So any of the relaxation techniques that you liked, if you incorporate that into your goal somehow and those action steps, and if you have whatever relaxation technique or treat that you feel does your body good, writing it down and checking that off will make you want to check off the other stuff too, in my opinion. I feel like that works out good. And then your accountability options are a group setting like this, which is super powerful. A classroom, I guess, in your guys' instance, having a buddy or someone like a coach who really, helps support you.
And if you go back to, I think, one of the beginning sessions, if you tell somebody, hey, I'm working on this, then your success is going to go up.
Yes. It's
And
like 83%.
then the next thing, if you tell somebody, but you give that buddy permission to ask you, hey, how's that water thing going? You drinking more water like you said you wanted to. Giving people permission to ask
Right.
how that's going.
Makes
I
a
can see
difference.
kids, picking a buddy and working on things and asking each other. I can see that happening in school.
Yeah. A buddy system's good.
But if you don't tell anybody, no one knows.
Yeah.
I didn't succeed or I didn't fail.
Yeah. You would have to be, super, super committed person for you
Right.
to do.
I'm not a disciplined person.
No, it's hard.
But when you tell somebody and you give them permission, then
Yeah.
you know
Sets
they're
you
gonna
up.
ask. So if they're gonna ask, I want to be able to say, yep,
Yes.
I did it.
Or I
did it
tried.
3 times this week. I didn't do it every day.
Yeah.
I did it,
Like I was willing to admit I didn't get an A+ often, but I at least was able to acknowledge that I tried. Or I know that one of the challenges that I had was just gonna get in my way that week. And so, I tried again the next week and it was better. So
And the thing is,
Just being
this is,
honest.
this is always, it's based on success. So it's not based on failure, it's based on success.
mhm,
So most people set too strenuous of a goal.
yeah,
You're gung ho and just make yourself back off. Well, why don't you try it 2 days a week? Let's see how that
Yes.
goes. And then when your success, hey, I did it 2 days a week. I
you'll do
wasn't
it for
doing
the next,
all.
yeah.
And then you
Mhm.
bump it up to 3 or
Mhm,
4.
mhm.
Or I feel really good. I think this is ingrained in me. Now I need to work on some of these other things.
Yeah.
When you say, well, I was successful with this goal, I'm going to apply the same principles, all these things for that.
I really felt like just one area of focusing on it made all the other areas improve somehow. I did
Yeah.
not intend for that to happen, but it was like
It does. It does.
that like made all my fill in my circle a lot more. So any feedback on that little exercise? Do you like it? Do you think it would be helpful?
Holly?
Hopefully pretty easy. I made it, it's a fillable PDF, so the toolkit that I gave you guys, I'll resend it all after this, but we can amend it, we can change it. Dr. Yonke gave us the permission to do that, so.
So filling this out creates this.
Yes.
Yep. Creates that nice little blueprint for them. Something
It's
tangible.
kind of fun to pick something that's simple.
Yeah.
So it can work the process.
Good activity. So then we conclude with, oh my gosh, the hardest part about this is getting it ready for implementation. So you guys, by the end of the school year, will have basically all these PowerPoints and a nice document that outlines the 8 different pillars. That will be for your guys' review and or editing. And then my summer, along with Aaron, I hope, we'll have the opportunity to edit this and print and bind it for like a tangible book and an editable book, like both versions for you guys.
And I think
It's our goal.
Didn't we have Beverly say that there was money? that they
Yeah.
would Contribute towards that.
I think it's gonna be pretty easy. Yeah,
And, no, I think the district will help too.
that'd be so great. I don't know. Do we want, I mean, the guidebook's more for the teachers like you guys, the staff, the first round of staff, and then we can print more as needed, or maybe we do another round of this and we cut things out or we add stuff in. So just to know that we have those partnerships there and that we can print and prepare these for you guys is my goal. I hope that's aligned with what you guys think too. And then by August, when you guys come back, you'll have this ready to roll out to your students that you touch, the students that you impact, the students that you work with. And then I have this vision of doing this same thing with another set of people. That could be teachers, that could be staff, or anyone that you feel like would benefit from it. But I think we'd also like to do it with the coalition members, the health coalition members from the Stay Strong, Live Long coalition. There's just a lot of people this stuff could benefit. More adult-esque in a sense, but we'll still, I don't know. That's just me. If we have the time and we have the support from you guys, you're the first round of people that have went through this. So what do you think, Aaron?
Well, I think that the main focus originally, from just an education standpoint, was, who can get the biggest bang for the buck, and that was, well, if we start with the elementary kiddos, as they grow, it becomes more and more ingrained in habit, and you're not breaking bad habits, you're getting healthier, more engaged people. So the trick now will be, how do we take what we know and turn it into, and I still not sure I'm comfortable with the word curriculum. Curriculum brings in a lot of other connotations there, but in terms of our wellness committees in each of our districts and the focus from these trainings, how do we begin to implement physical education programs in these concepts? And from there, let that begin to filter through the culture of the platform.
Is the word guide, a wellness guide, is that an acceptable term? Is that different than, because curriculum means something more to you all probably than it does to me.
Mhm.
I like it better, but it's
Yeah.
resource. Guidebook, it's not as,
I'm gonna show you guys the guidebook that Dennis and I have. It's so great. So just for kicks, I'm showing you guys the guidebook that it's 247 pages that Dennis and I went through. There's the circle that we have. We have created this one, but in sense, exactly what you're talking about, step by step, what you would do to lead a facilitation and to break things down. My goal is to create a very more simplified version of this guidebook or whatever you guys decide you want to call it. I mean, it is just like very long.
That's kind of what we discussed in the past,
Mhm.
soft start with our family time. I know over at holiday.
Yeah.
At North Lawn, 4x6 building, we each have a family. Plan, about 25 minutes before we start the day.
And my school has to pick up their families, and have no hop when they meet. But the kid, when they enter seventh grade, will have this same group of kids and instructor through 12th grade.
And the teachers pick the kids they want.
So they're,
Ooh.
The teacher has selected on
That one, this one, yeah.
I'm gonna be
Bring
the
some
leader.
leaders in
And
and
they get
someone.
involved in person to talk with them on the level,
Mhm.
how's life going. the instruction.
So you're saying that would be the perfect,
That would be.
that would be what you're talking about.
That would be.
You guys have this similar,
Well, we've got how do you guys do it? We do it once a week, and we haven't done it this year because of COVID. But,
We mainly have it like 3 times a week, different activities. So I use it for like maybe lessons like this or IPS lessons.
Hmm. That's gonna be where you
I think
guys.
each district will be,
Little
this will feel more
different.
comfortable in certain, in different places. in each
Right,
district,
exactly.
As long as, as long as our kids are being exposed to it.
Right, right,
Well, it's nice that it can be adaptable.
right.
Now, whatever makes the most sense to incorporate this into your system.
Mhm. Yep, this is all changed. We can change it and modify it. This is just like kind of the example of what we went through. And I have high hopes that you guys can help me make this as to what you guys want it. So,
And, I think the kicker is at some point, grant managers from this pathways grant, will appear.
mhm,
And they'll want to have some evidence,
mhm.
indicating that in our case, each district is using
Yeah,
this information in some way. Other pathways will be responsible for, whatever that is, so. We'll just have to be able to come up with some way that we can demonstrate this is done.
yeah,
And I know Kim and I just kind of jumped in right in the middle of the sessions, so kind of getting more details on that, I think would be helpful for us.
definitely.
Maybe another training.
I think, don't you guys think it's needed?
Yeah, I think it's needed, and I think we need to recruit.
Recruit a little bit.
teachers that are kind of dedicated to the.
If we were to do that, what do you guys think about like a 1 day go through it all, or is that way too much information at one time?
I think it might be easier on Friday.
Yeah,
It's been
Would-
difficult for me.
okay. So maybe like a one day, if we could just like get who those people are in a room and just go through all the 8 pillars.
We
Circle
did.
once and we're done.
So these were, we basically did, we did all this in less than 8 hours.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it's doable.
yeah, I think so.
I probably
You
could
know, you
cut
have-
a lot out.
We did two
2 pieces.
uh,
We did it.
break, 2 pieces,
Yeah, 2
break.
pieces, break, do a little, yeah.
I
mean,
think
it's
the
not
most helpful
complicated.
part for me is it's actually, this is all stuff we all already know. It's actually the
Yeah.
implementation.
The
You
hard
have to
thing.
know how to do, like when we did breathing last time, you have to sit there and practice that. So it's like, oh, I get this.
Like, so that you feel confident
Yeah. So I can now say
facilitating,
something.
yeah, facilitating a technique. Yeah, I think we could do
And-
that.
And I know that Dr. Yonke will make any kinds of
Mhm.
videos, demonstration videos.
Yeah.
Like last week, I thought he didn't have quite the environment. You could see his belly and his
The chest
area.
breathing. Mhm,
But
mhm.
you could tell how to do that breathing. But for any of these kind of techniques, they're.
See, they're down here.
Created so that other people that come into this program as we go, whether it be in the school system or it's
Mhm.
in city, county government, or my hospital, it'll be good to have those resources.
There's, yeah, I think, yeah, that would be wonderful. I think I could do that.
I think it would be helpful too, if we could like find out from building leaders if there's an in-service you can hit.
Sure, yeah,
Especially beginning of the year back to school. I know it gets really booked up fast, but I'm sure when superintendents are committed to have.
Yeah.
this implemented, they said,
they said yes,
I
yeah.
asked $1 million, I'm like, okay, so that's relevant. And then are you gonna
Are
pay
you?
sales for all these?
Yeah. Yep,
Put them in there.
yep, so that means that
That
we've got
means
that
there's supporting
buy-in.
it, so.
That's good, yeah, and I think it is helpful for both. Audiences.
The district-wide professional development. How would you envision it?
I'm thinking more building to building because implementations can look different in each building in our case. But I would like, I think that even like when you came into the resist
Mhm.
stuff for us, that would be about enough time to hit on what the pillars are
Mhm.
and just give the nuggets, those golden
Right, the
nuggets,
gold.
that demonstrate the breathing
Mhm.
every 15 minutes. This
Boom.
pillar is doing it, or, we have a timer.
Yeah.
My kids look forward to hydration breaks
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
know to go touch my phone and it resets.
Yeah.
By the time
They're like, we
across
want
the room, they're like,
that.
"Oh,
We
there's
want
some little-
more
oh,
insight
come on, I'm
timer.
gonna text it to
Yeah.
you."
Yeah, I mean,
So then that would be then the impetus to like, maybe you would like. to
I
town.
think, yeah, because I think at that point, you're like, if you would like to.
if you want to be the facilitator, yeah,
you would
we
like
want you
more
guys to be the
information,
ambassadors. Mhm.
One or two people in each building, then you've got your next group for.
Right.
getting involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not brain science. It's not, it's just the time to take to do it, to practice. And I think Dr. Yonke would be pretty cool with helping us. Between Dennis and I feel like we could provide one more at least in October, don't you think? Or maybe before, maybe your fall, September or something, or whenever those dates are that you guys have those things set up, those dates, those in-service, whatever they're called. PD, professional development.
What feels more comfortable for helping you?
I think honestly, right now, we're kind of. because of being the superintendent and all that.
Right.
100% say,
Mhm.
I think it's a good idea, but I don't want to commit without having discussions with him.
Mhm.
Would it be helpful, to get a little more background information at some point, just, after just answer questions?
Lane wanted to be on it, but he's sure that he's also the track coach, so.
Okay.
Well, and, we realized, I think pretty early, that the timing of this, I don't know what the perfect time, but spring was
Not it.
But this was the opportunity.
Yeah,
that
we just had to roll with it.
So,
Mhm.
they did, that work. So.
Mhm.
So, you're talking about having just a little presentation of what this is, a little background in each of the buildings.
Well.
At least
It's not just, yeah, I just got my
3.
answer from the high school. They have their families under the age of Wednesday, so.
Okay, that's good. Plenty,
Um,
yeah. So it'd be like, how many buildings do you guys have?
3.
That's 6. How many buildings do you want? 2. 8 hours for each building? Or can we get everybody at the same time?
Oh, no, I'm thinking the
You're talking
original thing would just
snapshot.
be like a snapshot.
Oh,
thing,
sure.
like What you did with resist.
Sure. Yeah.
Of each building. And then.
And then from there
you
do
pull- you pull
Yeah.
the interest
one.
rate, people put 1 or 2 in each building
Okay.
Those are the ones.
That are gonna
Okay.
do the whole day training.
So, how long do you think? Present it to people that haven't been exposed to it, what time?
How much
Like,
time
you
you
spend on your
how much
15,
time
20
did you spend on this?
30
Talking
minutes?
an hour, we talking a
Yeah.
half hour,
Half hour,
half hour,
20,
23 minutes.
20. I can bust that out
Yeah.
pretty quick.
Yeah, because we have our
Just do the
online
gun.
Light Start days where you could hit 1 in each building.
Mhm.
That's 45 minutes.
Yeah,
I wonder,
that's doable.
yeah, haven't seen the collaboration schedule for next year yet, but that would probably be.
So you have a taster for.
Yep,
everyone, and
do a
then the ones
taster.
that Say, yeah, I want to.
Then we
do
schedule a
And
training.
then from that, we'll have the group, the second group.
Yeah,
to train.
yeah. I'd love for it to be in person like this, if possible. I think you guys were,
Most likely will be helpful.
don't you think? I mean, I think what I get from you guys is so much more engaging and helpful than Zoom. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop recording then. We got our to-do list. I've got my to-do list started.